Hi everyone, it's Lonnie with Grace Blossoms for You, and I decided I wanted to start on a new journal today, and I'm going to be recycling some things in the process. First, I've got this Amazon mailer. It's about 18 inches long, and so I need that width to comfortably cover the cover of our journal. I wanted something that is a little bit soft and cushiony. It's not super soft and cushiony, but it's a little something. So then that's going to be the outside. And then for this, we're going to cover this cereal box leftovers. So I have cut the pieces that I need. The middle piece is 2 1/4 wide by 8 1/2, and the outside pieces are 6 inches by 8 1/2. So once we get those cut, then I'm going to apply two-sided tape to the back. The two-sided tape will stick better than glue will right off, because the glue will take time and the tape will be pretty much instant. So I will be back after I have put the tape down, and we'll go from there. Okay, so I have put two-sided tape on the one side, and I have removed the backing. So now I am going to get out my mailer. This project is really quite forgiving because I've already had to do some adjusting. So your mailer has to, for this project, our mailer has to be more than 14 inches wide, because we've got 14 inches in the material alone. So first, make sure you have the printed side of your mailer facing up, and then roughly place your pieces to make sure you're going to have room for everything. And then make sure that you have them spaced out properly so that you're going to have enough room around the edges. Alright, so I'm going to put my middle piece down first. Stick it down. And then the next, the ends, I'm going to leave a little bit of space for the bending. It's about 1/4 of an inch. It wouldn't need to be quite that much. But you do want them even on both sides, so and try to line them up. Alright, so if we did this right on the other side, we should have plain. That's good, because that's what we're going to decorate after. So make sure you glue it on the printed side, which is where I messed up once already. Alright, so I'm going to miter the corners somewhat, but not all the way down to the edge, because I tend to have exposed corners if I do it like that. So I'm going to leave about 1/4 of an inch between the end of my cardboard there and the edge of the mailer. So I will come in and then go out. Kind of cramped for space here today, but that's just temporary with the big mailer. Okay. So at this point, we don't have a top and a bottom yet. So then we can think about how we're going to attach this part. And also, one thing we're going to have to be on the lookout for is the edge of our cardboard. The cereal box. We're going to have to be mindful of the edge of it, because if we're not going to get this straight, because the mailer, because it has those little styrofoam dots in there, it's going to fold where it wants to fold, not where you want it to fold. How do I know this? Oh, maybe experience. So anyways, what I'm going to do before I attach it is train it. I'm going to pull, making sure I have the edge, and then fold it down. And I'm pulling on it quite hard just to make sure it's not going to bend too easily. So now I can see where the fold is going to be, and that's what I want. So on every side. I mean, if you're not fussy about things sticking out everywhere, fine, but I think most of us would like a fairly straight edge. Okay, so almost done. I could have actually taken my bone folder, but I wanted to just feel that and make sure that I actually had the edge. All right. Then how to attach it. Again, you can use glue if you don't mind waiting for it to dry. I think I'm gonna at least use the two-sided tape on the edge. And then I'll probably put glue on the inside. So because I have so much edge, I'm just gonna put the two-sided tape on the outer edge. Sorry about all the flipping and the noise. I'm also going to use my narrower tape on the outsides here. Okay, so that's this one. And then I'll put glue in the middle or on towards the inside. All right, so I have tape on the edges, and I've got so much of this Elmer's glue. I'm just gonna sparingly put some on the inside. All right, then we're going to pull it taut, very taut, and bring it in. Making sure that we still have that same crease. And that we can feel the cardboard going all the way to the other side, or to the edge here. This is actually a lot easier to just do than it is to explain and show. I noticed that already. Okay, so if I did a great job, actually I did do a good job with my tape on the edge, but I noticed that the mailer is kind of splitting in places, so I'll have to do some touch-up work after. Alright, so then same on the ends. Okay, so the edge of the mailer where we mitered, it's sticking up a little bit there. Problem is, if I cut it anymore, some of that styrofoam is probably going to show. So I'm going to take something pointy, like maybe tweezers, and try to fold that in. There you go. Fold that towards the inside, and then we can put some good glue in the crevices. So I'm gonna just check my edges and do that, and then I'll be back. Okay, so I went around the edges and I just made sure they were stuck down and put a little bit of glue in some of the crevices just to help it stay down. Then I went with my bone folder into the creases here to train the flaps. And I did that on both sides, just so that it will give us the edges. Then you can stand it up and see if you did a great job. My corners are matching quite nicely, and I have some flexibility in the corners and at the spine area. That's going to be good. The signatures are going to come later. It might be different for all of us when we put the signatures in or when we finish decorating, because part of my decoration, I think, is going to happen at the end after I put my signatures in. And my idea is to put some ribbon on the outside of the spine, and that will then hide the signatures. I don't want the signatures, the sewing, to be on top of the ribbon, so that's something to keep in mind as we proceed. Okay, so then comes the covering on the inside, and I basically used a part of a mailer that's half smaller than this. So I had trouble matching the color because I have, who knew, different colors of mailers. So what I want to do is fold in the ends, the sides. That will, because there's no styrofoam at the very edges, that's going to help give us a little bit more sponginess. If you don't want that, you don't have to fold the edges down, but that's what I want to do. And so I'm going to fold the edges in towards the printed side. I have lots of room here, so I'm not concerned about what size this is going to be, as long as the edges here are going to be covered up. And then we can probably cut out this outside little square there. And too, it's open on one side. You can see the styrofoam dots. So basically I'm just folding it over the size of one of those dots. And again, I'm not taking out the whole corner there because I don't want to be short. We just want it fairly even so that we end up with a fairly even surface. Alright, so I'm going to use my narrow tape again. This is going to be facing down, so I'm not too fussy about the edges on this one because the edges won't be showing from this side. And I might do the glue again in the crevices just to make sure. This is actually quite fun and easy to do. I think I'm going to be making a lot more of these if we're still here. Alright, just making sure I have the tape down. Finally. Okay. Cover that. Okay, so then we can fold it in. bit sticking out. Alright, so then we're going to flip that. And then we're going to attach it. And it will be helpful if you can see where the creases are, where the spine. Because we're going to train the inside. And this is where it's going to come in handy to have a kind of a slow drying glue, I guess. I'm going to do the tape on the outside again and do the glue in the middle again. I just found that gives me instant and flexibility where I need it. I'm using the wide one because this piece is quite large. I should have taken my cover off. And I need a small piece because that just tore. All right, so then we make sure it's stuck again. Okay, so that, and then I'll use the Elmer's on the inside again. And I'll just briefly spread some out. I don't want gobs of it anywhere, just small amounts throughout. Because we do want it to stick. Okay, so we'll say that's good. If you wanted to, you could spread it out, but I don't think that's necessary. All right, so then back to the inside. Flip this over. Put your nicest piece where you think you'll be looking at it most. And then I think the plan, for me anyways, is going to be to center it, not necessarily match up any seams. But like I said, we got to stay mindful of the edges, where the spine meets the ends, because the glue will have some give, but the tape won't. So I need to make sure. That's why I folded it there, to to make sure that the tape would indeed give me that edge. So I'm making sure I have the edge and then pressing the end down so that the tape will stick where I need it to. If I stuck the tape first and then tried to bend it, it might not give me that flexibility. And again, I know this because it may have already happened. All right, so there is our cover. And I think it looks great. So around the edges, if you need to, you can cover the edges if you wanted to. I just want to make sure there's no big gaps. And if there are gaps, I will come in with the fine tip glue and just make sure it doesn't peel off or come apart, like this edge over here. My Barely Art glue finally arrived, and it's the finest tip I have here. So this is where it's coming up a little bit, the paper. So I'm just gonna put it down. And I might actually have to clamp that to have it stay. And that might be, so I'll just put a line in there. Because we're not going to need access to that. So it's okay to fill that in and make it as permanent as we can. So then I will take some binder clips and just put it on the edges. I have quite a few binder clips, and looks like I'll be needing a few here. Okay, so after this part dries, we can start to decorate the outside. Now, I already did one and started to decorate it because honestly I had no idea. And this one is going to need to dry, and then I'm going to have to do this side. So I'm going to put this one aside. And then I can show you what I already worked on. So here is the inside of the one I made already. And then what I went ahead and did was stenciled it. I used black soot ink and I stenciled some roses. Now it's not that I have a thing for black roses, I just like the color combinations between black and gold and the background of the craft color we had here. So that's why I went with the black roses. Also, I had some brown on my dauber, what do you call this? Applicator. So it's not completely black, but I do have varying shades of darkness. And then I went and I put gold metallic paint. Where is it? Right in front of my face. I used folk art metallic antique gold, and I just took a brush, dabbed it in the lid part, and just kind of dabbed it here and there everywhere. And I actually did that before I stenciled it, so some of the gold is now showing through, and that too helped the ink to not be so dark, I think, because it shows up really nice. And then I did the front and the back and the spine. As you can see, it's not perfect. The edge of the stencil came into play some places because I'm still fairly new at stenciling, so I haven't figured out all the tweaks yet, but that's okay. It's I covered it up a little bit and then I did the same thing again. But that's okay. I don't mind. It's not a it's not a perfect piece, but it's something I made, something that I took the time to figure out how to do. And this journal of joy is much like life. It's not perfect. You can see mistakes here and there, but when it all comes together like a tapestry, it's better looking on one side than it is the other. Okay, I'll try not to be too deep here, but the joy is going to be when we, it's the journey. So it may not look all that great to begin with, but it's going to be what you put into it that's going to make it special. So I'm looking forward to it. I hope you have enjoyed today's video, and I hope that you give this a try, because if you don't try, you'll never know. Yeah, so have a blessed week, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.